I grew up and went to north of Boston, born in 1960. I remember when I first was out on a boat one time, we just finished a sandwich. I said, Dad, where do I put the trash? He's like, I just throw it in the water. And I said to him, I knew, like, innately that it wasn't the right thing to do. He's like, Billy, just throw it in the water. When I read this, I realized how little I knew. Once my eyes were opened, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to start trying to do something. I've been here 34 years. I think I'm lucky to be able to live in a place like this. And it'd be interesting to see what the future will bring if nothing's done.
We're all facing the same rising ocean. It doesn't care where the town line is. The water needs somewhere to go. Nature always wins. We're not going to stop the ocean. I'm worried that my kids might never get to drive around the Waysquee corner, stuff like that. It's little things that were a part of my childhood, and everything's washing away.
If I was a person, that wanted a waterfront property, I would be careful myself as to where I bought. Sea level is rising, and I think if we had a 100-year storm or even a 50-year storm, we would see some significant issues with the island.
Even if people don't realize it, climate change will impact you. There's no getting around that, and especially on the island. Getting more hurricanes, more damage, more days off of school, it's going to impact all aspects of life. If something happens to our aquifers, for example, then we're relying solely on bottled water being transported over the boat. And what happens if, the docks flood and that can't happen? It's a terrible thought, but it's very real.
I was brought up and or taught that, people that would talk about the environment, they were tree huggers or, they were ridiculed or belittled. And the truth of the matter is, they were right. They were right. If we listed 50 years ago, we would have probably been in a better position now.
Even with big things like raising the Edgertown Yacht Club and the wharf, we're going to need major projects all around the island. We're looking at doing it down in Menemsha. Within 5 years, we could be raising Dutcher Dock. It's underwater at times, and that's not going to change.
What can we do? How do we listen to each other as much as possible, listen to our experts, listen to science, making it part of your lifestyle, and really adapt our minds, get out of the habit of kind of just hearing it and then not doing anything about it. I think we have a lot of inactive bystanders where they know what's happening, but then you don't change your habits.
Began with initially trying to change my own habits, and then it moved on to trying to do bigger and better things. I got introduced to a lot of different, all the different groups, whether it be ICANN or VSEC or whatever it might be. That led to, being on the steering committee representing Oak Bluffs for the Climate Action Plan. So it's kind of all just snowballed that way. And I think there's a lot of groups doing a lot of different things. This Climate Action Plan is a great step. I'm really hopeful that it'll bring the whole island together.
Hindsight's 2020, and I wish we'd started a lot of these things sooner, but I feel like the island community is in a good spot. A lot of people here really understand the problems and the issues we're facing. So there is a community drive to come up with solutions.
The problem really kind of started with us and, and the American way. And we also have the ability to fix it to a large extent. That's another thing you hear people say, oh, there's nothing I could do about it, Well, there's, roughly 300 million people in this country. If we all made a little bit of an improvement or a big improvement, that's gonna be a significant improvement. We could throw in the towel or we could just try.